You're watching on demand. Please check the closing time before trying to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
This is criminal barrister Robert Rinder. He spent his career fighting for justice. Now he's ready to rule in ITV's court.
Do I have Debbie here?
Yes, you do.
And is it Claire?
Yes.
You went on holiday. While you were out there, what exactly did you agree to?
We signed up for a timeshare.
How much?
£3,600.
Who did you go to?
Me?
And I assume you said, computer says no. Did you?
No.
How bad was your debt at that point, madam?
About £8,000. I had people knocking at my door and chasing me. I was barely being able to pay my bills.
Bank of Mum's only got 28p in it at the moment.
Unfortunately, she's not a priority and she's at the bottom of the list, unfortunately.
Bottom of the list.
Debbie is in court to claim the court maximum of £5,000 owed on loans she made to her daughter. Defendant Claire says she has had to prioritise other debt. Therefore, she needs more time to pay the money back.
Do I have Debbie here?
Yes, you do.
And is it Claire?
Yes, hello.
Now, Debbie, let me ask you from the beginning. On the scale of 1 being, I don't know, bad, and 10 being very good with money, how would you describe Claire? Where would you put her on the scale?
2.
2? Where would you put yourself?
I'd probably say about 4.
A 4?
Yeah?
Putting that down in big. 4?
Yeah?
Now, the thing is, the two of you have had a good relationship over the years, right?
Yes.
This is the one thing between you. Is that about right, Claire?
That's correct, yeah.
Now, at some point in 2009, Claire, you were due to go on holiday somewhere deeply cultural. Where was it that you were going?
Gran Canaria.
Nothing wrong with that. Now, at that point, you can't just go on holiday somewhere warm and not have the correct attire, right?
That's correct.
It would be like showing up at court without robes and bands, or Michelle wearing a pair of mildly comfortable shoes. Now, Debbie,
Yes.
she didn't have enough money to buy clothes. This was a good deal of time ago. We're talking close to a decade ago, right?
Yes.
And so what did you do as a generous, kind, loving, thoughtful mum?
I gave her my catalogue.
Now, just to be clear, when you give someone a catalogue, that's handing over a book to another person.
It is.
From time to time, I've done that with Michelle, and we've looked at lovely crockery with one another. And when we're bored from time to time, not suggesting it's got anything to do with this case, we'll sit and we'll have
Yes.
a lovely afternoon going through the crockery, won't we?
Yes.
When you say give Claire
Yeah.
the catalogue, what exactly do you mean?
She asked me if she could get some clothes out of the catalogue, and I said yes, not realising that it was more than just a swimsuit and a pair of shorts and a t-shirt.
Well, let's
But I
just
didn't-
pause.
Yeah.
I want to find out what one needs for a trip to Gran Canaria, assuming you're not on the trip with somebody that's got a large entourage. Were you visiting Gran Canaria with Lady Gaga or someone of that sort?
No, I went with my boyfriend at the time.
Is he Lady Gaga?
No, he's not, no.
Well, let's just pause. I want to have a look. I'm making a list, madam. What does one need for a trip to have sufficient clothes for how long will you go?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. I want to know what you need. What did you need?
Shoes, flip-flops, swimsuit, some additional tops, some summer dresses.
Of course. Well, we all need summer dresses. Just ask Peter.
Yeah.
Now, Debbie,
Yes.
you say you gave Claire permission to use the catalogue. Explain to me what that means. Is it in your name or is it in Claire's?
Mine.
So, what do you mean by giving permission? What did you say Claire had permission to do?
I said to her, choose some things out of the catalogue for your holiday and then pay me back as we pay, like on a monthly basis.
Of course, that's the way the catalogue works.
Yes.
Did you specify the maximum amount that Claire could spend?
No, because I assumed that it was just going to be a couple of pairs of shorts, a couple of T-shirts.
Why did you make that assumption?
I think she wanted additional things to take with her, not quite a full wardrobe.
Here's difficulty, madam. I presume, bearing in mind this is your credit, your responsibility in the event that you don't pay, the catalogue comes after you and affects your credit rating, that you ensured you got something specific and precise in writing from Claire to say, Mum, I will pay you each month X amount in order to cover the things I have bought for me and my partner. You did get that?
No.
Well, you're nodding your head, madam.
I'm agreeing with you. I should have got that.
Well, you didn't get it.
No.
It's just a verbal agreement.
It's just a verbal agreement.
Yeah.
How very useful.
Yeah.
Now, that was £400.
Yeah.
How much did she promise she was going to pay you back?
It was about £35 a month.
About that. Could you have afforded that at the time?
Yes.
That's very helpful to hear. Now, you went on holiday, and I don't know, madam, and it's no criticism of you, but some people spend a little bit too much time in the sun. They drink a little bit too much, and they fall asleep under the rays. It's happened to me. I once went on holiday. I had a very serious murder trial. I was a little bit more plump then. And somebody suggested I should wear some carrot oil. I fell asleep, and I came back and I had an entirely orange face. I went to court and I put on my white wig and I looked like an Oompa Loompa. Now, Claire, if that can happen to me, if I can make some rather dubious choices, I suspect you too can be affected by the weather.
Yes.
Yes? While you were out there, what exactly did you agree to? What happened?
We signed up for a timeshare.
Just pause for a second. Bearing in mind, in order to clothe yourself for this holiday, you had to effectively borrow money from Mum.
Yes.
Why on earth would you think that you had money for a timeshare?
At the time I was working and felt I could afford the payments for a loan to pay for the timeshare.
Madam, what was the sales pitch like? Did they take you somewhere lovely and start giving you alcohol and that sort of thing?
They did, yes. They fill you with a lot of lovely photos of hotels and places you can go around the world. Lots of champagne.
Understood. Promises that there are glamorous people that you're going to be sharing the villa with.
Yes.
There's you, a margarita, sunshine, and curly watts on the next bed.
They also advised that you'd be able to sell your timeshare to other people so they could use it as well to help obviously pay for it.
That's very important. In other words, whatever you invest, it is implied as protected because you have an asset which you can sell.
Yes.
That was suggested to you, correct?
Yes.
That's very important to me, otherwise I'd be infinitely more cross about what happened. How much, madam? Bearing in mind, I'm going to repeat myself, you borrowed £400 for clothes. Did you invest in this scheme?
I did, yes.
How much?
£3,600.
Your daughter, who is a financially bad risk, who's borrowed £400 in order to clothe herself for a holiday, can't get a loan because the loan company is insufficiently satisfied that she is a decent person to lend money to because they will lose their money and they've got plenty to lose. Who did she go to?
Me.
And I assume you said, computer says no. Did you?
Yes.
Did you?
I did to start with.
Did you?
No. I didn't think it was a good idea. I didn't agree with it. But after a lot of, please, Mum, we'll pay you back, I did it. I took the money out of my savings.
Was there an agreement as to how much Claire would pay you back each month?
Yes.
How much?
£250.
Now, here's the thing. You've got the £400 debt on the clothes. You've added another £3,500. Why didn't you put something on paper?
I feel that we had a verbal agreement. We used to talk on the phone. I just feel that putting it on paper, I suppose, seemed...
Unnecessary?
Yes.
Well...
Thank you.
You're welcome. Claire, Did you hand over the 3,500 to the timeshare company?
Yes.
Did you obtain what I'm loosely going to describe as the asset, that timeshare?
Yes.
What have you done with it?
It's run out now. It was only for a 5-year period.
Understood. But before that 5-year period ran out, what did you try and do with it?
We attempted to sell it back to the timeshare company and they wouldn't accept it. They said I could sell it to another person, but everybody that I asked and tried to sell it to wouldn't take it from me. I tried to sell it to my mum, but she obviously didn't want it either.
Just wait a moment.
Coming next.
You're here being sued by another bank, the Bank of Mum.
Bank of Mum's only got 28p in it at the moment.
How much?
28p.
Do you have any savings?
No. No.
If I hadn't been threatened with bailiffs or taking my furniture out or being taken to court, then I would quite happily pay my mum some money and not them. But unfortunately, she's not a priority and she's at the bottom of the list, unfortunately, of all the arrears I owe.
Thanks.
This is Judge Rinder. He's waiting to hear your case.
Does an ex-housemate owe you money? Are they refusing to pay for previously shared bills? Do they owe outstanding rent arrears? Maybe they damage your property and you've lost your deposit as a result. My court clerks are waiting to hear from you. If you're 18 or over and would like to be considered for the show, text the word judge plus your name to 63334. Text costs 25 pence plus one standard network rate message. Or email judge@itv.com. Please note that we're unable to consider claims that have been or are currently in court.
Debbie is in court to claim the court maximum of £5,000 owed on loans she made to her daughter. Defendant Claire says she has had to prioritise other debt. Therefore, she needs more time to pay the money back.
Your mum had lent me £3,500 for a timeshare. In fact, she paid for the timeshare, and you offered to sell it to her.
To give it to her.
It was hers. Why did you not give it to her?
I did. She could have used it whenever she wanted to, if she wished to do so.
Did you use it at all?
No.
Now, whether that's right or not, we're back a long time. How many times did Claire give you £250? You're looking at a book.
I am, sorry.
Now, I've been made aware of this book.
That's my little book.
Your little book. Tell me about your little book.
My little book. I started it off in September 2009, which was around about the time that Claire owed me the money.
It's very important.
Timeshare. She actually owed me more than that, but we rounded the figure off to an amount. And I've then written each month how much I've lent her and how much has come back.
That's a ledger.
Yeah.
That's very important because that gives me an indication that you did not consider this to be a gift. But as far as you were concerned, you were keeping a rolling record in order that you and Claire would be aware as to exactly how much was owed. That you would not have kept that record unless you wanted the money back, correct?
Correct.
Would you go and get Mum's little black book? This is like the love child between an accountant and War and Peace.
Yes, it is. It's old.
That's not the point I mean,
Oh, right.
madam.
Not in it.
Now, it started in 2009, and there's out, and there's various bits that are in.
Mm-hmm.
There is a good deal more that goes out than comes in.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
In fact, there's hardly anything that's in.
No.
But this is very important. There are, in fact, some payments. The most that's ever paid are, on a few occasions, £100. There were a number of instances where you paid £50.
Yeah.
Was that a regular payment?
It was to start with, yes.
Well, it does appear to be that in 2014, you started paying fairly regularly, once a month. In fact, you did so for close to 8 months. You paid £50 per month.
Yes.
Let's get to 2014, because here's the thing. having not received a penny back for the timeshare investment, over the next few years, you lent Claire a good deal more money, set out here. You aren't suing her for that precise amount of money because, frankly, you've lost track of it, and because it was dribs and drabs and the Bank of Mum. Am I right?
Yes.
However, in 2012, what happened when you moved to a new flat?
My mum lent me the money to help with the costs of moving for estate agents. And
The first month's rent and the deposit, wasn't it?
Yes.
£1,250, wasn't it?
Yes.
Why on earth would you lend your daughter that when, at this point, she owes you just shy, about £100 shy of £4,000?
Because she needed somewhere to live.
Understood. Michelle needs somewhere to live.
I've got a spare room.
I was about to say Peter does, but...
Yeah, no.
Bad idea, frankly. £5,000, that's an afternoon stocking up the fridge. By 2012, how much was the total debt?
£5,150, yeah.
That's taking into account the money that she started paying. Now, this is an important question, Claire. From the 30th of January 2014, you start making regular payments of £50 for 8 months, just shy. The last payment, I think, is £30.
Yeah.
Why did you start making regular instalments to your mum of that sum?
I was working full-time and in a position to pay her some money, and my mum had asked me on several occasions to start paying her back for that money. So I felt I needed to do that to honour our agreement.
Now, it's interesting to me that this stopped in 2014, because I'm right, aren't I, Claire, that something changed, something rather delightful for you, perhaps. But what changed in 2015?
I got pregnant.
How bad was your debt at that point, madam?
About £8,000.
Now, that's a great deal of money.
Yes.
How bad had the debt got insofar as enforcement was concerned? That's a legal way of saying, were there bailiffs involved whilst you were pregnant?
There was, yes. I had bailiffs turn up at my door threatening to take my furniture away. I also got taken to court for my council tax arrears and got told by the judge that basically he would be able to convict me and take me to prison if he wanted to, so I would have to ensure that I paid them and none of the others that had no consequences caused to me afterwards.
Now, these were some payments that you made to Mum.
Yeah.
£10, and a further £10, correct?
Yeah.
But, madam, you couldn't even afford them to continue.
No. I had still continuous people knocking at my door chasing me for my previous debts that I still owed. I was barely being able to pay my bills, let alone the arrears that I was obviously incurring at the time as well.
In 2018, bearing in mind where we are, at some point you must have got some debt advice because you entered into an IVA.
I did, yes.
I've got credit cards on here. Huge amount on credit cards. There are other debts which have absolutely nothing to do whatsoever with basic utilities. They're debts which relate to other things. How did you end up in so much credit card debt?
Trying to be responsible and getting a credit card to personal loans to build up our credit, and unfortunately...
What? Talking. I wanted to be responsible, so I got myself a credit card. If you want to be responsible talking, you'll help me. Mum, Bank of Mum. If you want to be responsible with your money, do you get a credit card?
No.
What do you do?
Pay the debts that you've got.
You save your money, you put it away in the bank, and you don't overspend. You are not being responsible. And I'm afraid I have to put that to you because ultimately you're here being sued by another bank, the Bank of Mum. And I have to determine how much she knew about your financial behaviour and consequently how reasonable Mum was in the first place.
Bank of Mum's only got 28p in it at the moment.
How much?
28p.
Do you have any savings?
No. None.
What does this money, the fact that we're now at a stage where your daughter's in £5,150 worth of debt to you, mean to you?
Just simple thing. I can't afford takeaways or anything. I've even gone to the stage where I put £1.26p in petrol just to get from A to B. the red lights come on, and I've literally got to the petrol station thinking, am I going to get there? Is it going to break down? And I don't want to be in that position anymore.
Do you understand the impact that this has had on Mum?
I do, and if I hadn't been threatened with bailiffs or taking my furniture out or being taken to court, then I would have quite happily paid my mum some money and not them. But unfortunately, she's not a priority, and other than us falling out, I won't receive any consequences of that stature.
Not a priority.
She's at the bottom of the list, unfortunately, of all the arrears I owe.
Bottom of the list.
Thanks.
Debbie, what's this done to your relationship?
I have to admit, there has been times when it's come up in conversation and we have had words. We're very close, and I just feel that the money is something that there needs to be closure on it.
Got herself into terrible debt, for which she'd like to apologise, right?
Yes.
Do you want to be standing here with Mum bringing you to court?
No.
Do you understand she's got 28p?
I do, yes.
What does that do to you?
It upsets me. You know, I don't want my mum to be in that position, and I feel like I've caused it sometimes. And it hangs over us as our relationship.
There are three aspects of your claim. Let me be clear. The difficulty is, Debbie, Mum, is you're seeking to enforce a debt against your daughter. A, from a very long time ago, and B, and this is the most important thing, in circumstances where you've got nothing in writing except a book. The challenge with that is that at the time that you lent your daughter these monies, I can't be sure, and the court cannot conclude that you intended to create legal relations. In other words, that both of you understood that if she didn't pay you, you were going to take her to court. Without that ingredient, the court has to conclude that you don't have an enforceable debt. However, to a limited extent, you can succeed in part of your claim. When you lent Claire the catalogue, it is quite clear to me that she had the benefit of those goods in circumstances where she understood that she was taking over your credit on her behalf. In those circumstances, she owes you the £400 for the goods that she obtained. The court awards you £400. Thank you.
Debbie won part of her case and was awarded £400 of her original claim. Let's find out how both parties felt about their day in court.
I do feel like I've been put to the back of the queue on quite a lot of occasions.
I just want to say I'm sorry that I didn't get my money, and obviously I can't pay you back this debt.
Right.
But I'll do my best afterwards to do whatever I can.
Thank you.
Jared is in court to claim the court maximum of £5,000 for an outstanding invoice for custom-made T-shirts he supplied to a customer. Defendant Mike says he ordered the T-shirts on behalf of a third party. Therefore, he should not have to pay.
Do you have Jared here?
Yes.
Excellent. And is it Mike?
Yes.
Now, Jared, you started business in 2009, which is some sort of... It's called a flashing T-shirt business, but when I read what a flashing T-shirt business was, I thought it might be some species of criminal offence. In other words, you have a T-shirt which has a rip down the middle, and you walk along, perhaps in a park or a dark night, and you go, hello. But it turns out it's that. When did you start it? Look, why did you start it?
I started it in 2009. I was actually homeless at the time and came across the concept of flashing T-shirts and just thought I'd further develop it.
Am I right, you got a little bit of mentoring and assistance from the Prince's Trust?
That's correct, yes.
Fantastic. And how long has the business been going?
It'll be 10 years in November.
What's the largest size order you'd ever dealt with?
About 2,000 T-shirts.
And how much would the purchaser pay for that? Obviously, it's gone up over the years, but
yeah,
in that instance...
Normally around about £9 a T-shirt.
Understood. So if it's 2,000
yeah.
T-shirts at £9, That's roughly, it's a bit less than that, let's call it £10 for the ease of maths. It's £20,000.
Yeah.
And that's what somebody would purchase from you. And are most of the people who buy in bulk people who are likely to sell them on?
Yeah.
In other words, they will program that to say whatever it is and sell them as merchandise at concerts and that sort of thing.
That's correct, yes.
And how do you program that sort of thing?
I've got an app connected to my phone. Is it right if I show
Yes,
you?
do by all means show me, yes. It's like Dragon's Den, only I can't invest. Pay me my money.
Coming next.
You sent 650 T-shirts worth how much?
6,500.
You sent £6,500 worth of goods to a lorry driver. Sir. The first time that's ever happened.
My apologies, sorry.
I think it's the Lord agreeing with me.
This program is sponsored by Patient Claimline, medical negligence specialists.
Dry, itchy, sensitive skin. Aveeno with naturally active triple oat complex moisturizes and soothes for results from day one. So skin looks like this, and you feel like this. Aveeno Skin Relief. Discover the right Aveeno for your skin type.
Many people with sensitive teeth have a gum problem, and that concerns me. I oftentimes see both going hand in hand, so we really want to address them both at the same time. I would definitely be recommending Sensodyne sensitivity and gum. It's great to have a dual-action toothpaste like this because it's addressing the two things that come into my surgery every day in one product.
Canarial pods beat the mud. Just one pod? Enjoy the brilliant clean of Ariel all-in-one pods. The U-Pod, always pod safely, and keep away from children.
This program is sponsored by Patient Claimline, medical negligence specialists.
You, sir, behaved appallingly. Your case is dismissed. Michelle, wake up. You're supposed to be taking a note.
Terribly sorry, Judge Rinder.
Jared is in court to claim the court maximum of £5,000 for an outstanding invoice for custom-made T-shirts he supplied to a customer. Defendant Mike says he ordered the T-shirts on behalf of a third party. Therefore, he should not have to pay.
I didn't know it could be programmed, in fact, and I was interested in that because, of course, that makes it very versatile for people to purchase for concerts and that sort of thing.
That's right.
Do you know roughly what these go for retail?
It's normally between £20 to £25 that they retail them for.
And you sell them for roughly 9 to 10?
That's right.
Understood. Now, here's the thing. On the 12th of March 2018, you got a message from Mike asking for a quote on 1,000 T-shirts, correct?
That's right, yeah.
Why were you purchasing 1,000 T-shirts then, please, Mike?
I was doing it for a friend. They knew people who had shops that sell T-shirts and clothing, and he wanted to make a profit on them, and he was going to give me some of the profit.
Understood, sir. If somebody is going to purchase a very large order, do you do due diligence? In other words, do you check who they are to make sure that they're the type of client who has the capacity to pay?
We'll just try and do as much kind of searching online to find out as much as we can, but as you can appreciate, there's only so much you can find. Call me naive at the time. I just say it was just a search on Google, really.
Mike, back then, in 2018, how would you describe your job?
I'm just a lorry driver. I just done my friend a favour.
You sent 650 T-shirts worth how much, consequently?
6,500.
You sent £6,500 worth of goods. I've seen this perfectly prepared invoice to a lorry driver. Sir.
It's a schoolboy error, yeah.
Now, at the time, did you believe you could pay for them?
No. I was just doing my friend a favour, and I was going to get some money on top of it.
Explain to me what you understood. Who would pay?
He would pay.
You took delivery of the T-shirts?
Yes.
Did you unpack the T-shirts?
Yes.
Did you hand them to this third party?
Yes.
Did this third party inspect the T-shirts?
Yes.
Were they satisfied that they were of merchandisable quality?
Yes.
This third party of yours
Yes.
specifically instructed you to enter into negotiations with Jared to provide what's called a bespoke T-shirt. In other words, one which had something very specific on it.
Yes.
What did he instruct you to ask Jared for?
The one on the screen.
The one on the screen?
Yes.
It had 3 M's.
Yes.
Flashing M's. Why did this third party want this, do you know?
No.
Jared, you tried to telephone Mike, correct?
That's correct.
And the reason you tried to telephone Mike is because you expect invoices to be paid within what period?
30 days.
Did you receive payment within 30 days?
No payment was made.
Did you telephone Mike?
Several times.
Why were you not answering the phone, Mike?
Because I didn't have the money.
Understood. On the 20th of September, Mike finally replied to you. What do you reply?
Just waiting on the guy to give me the dough.
Just waiting on the geezer to give me the dough.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Except it's 6 months late.
Yeah, I know.
Why hadn't you been in touch with him beforehand?
Because the person has robbed me blind. I've not spoke to them, and then when I finally saw one of his friends, he told me that he was waiting and he was still going to pay me because he wouldn't answer the phone to me. He changed his number.
In other words, you were chasing that third party
Yes.
as well. Understood.
And I didn't want to reply without no money and stuff, so... Which is
you feel bad about this?
Yeah, of course. And I was stressed out. I just had a son as well, and not trying to bring on the old tears and stuff, but it's just stressful because I'm not like that.
What do you mean you're not like that?
I wouldn't just rob someone for £6,000 or whatever it was, you know what I mean? So, but I was stupid enough to do it, so...
I've called many times and I'm still waiting for payment for the T-shirts. Please get in touch. Mike, the payment was due back in March and it's now October. I don't receive the money. You then threaten court action. Jared, you understand that in the event that I were to issue you an award in this case, the maximum the court can issue is £5,000. You're owed £6,500. Are you prepared to accept less in the event that I issue an award?
Well, if anything's
Because
better.
there's no further action you can take after that point. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you believe Mike willfully entered into a contract with you intending not to pay?
I don't think he would have entered it intentionally not to pay, no.
Well, that's as a result of him being in court today. Before that, you might have believed it, correct?
Yeah.
One of the things you might want to say to me in law is this. He should be, I'm afraid, not suing me, but the person who's failed to pay me.
Yes.
That may be valid. During the course of the communication, did Mike at any time give you an indication that he was acting on behalf of an experienced retailer?
No.
He just said it was him.
That's correct.
Understood. And I believe you. And it's a problem in this case. And I should be clear, Mike. Had, during the course of these discussions, emails or any other communication, before the just waiting on the geezer to give me the dough, had you expressed to Jared that you were nothing more than an agent on behalf of somebody else, I would have either dismissed these proceedings or adjourned them until such time as we could find that other person and determine whether or not they could come to court. But you never said that. And so consequently, Mike, you entered into a straightforward contract with Jared to pay this money. Jared, your claim is for £6,500. You have a clearly enforceable contract. The maximum this court can issue is £5,000, and that, sir, is the award of this court. The first time that's ever happened.
My apologies, sir.
I think it's the Lord agreeing with me. And wishing you and your business another decade of success. The award of this court is £5,000.
Jared won his case and was awarded the court maximum of £5,000. Let's find out how both parties felt about the judge's ruling.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes, shouldn't have had to come to this, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I should have really not ignored you for over a year. And I shouldn't have done it in the first place either, but, you know, hope you know I'm not like that.
Appreciate it, and yeah, it's nice to see some remorse. Thank you.
Wish you every success.
Cheers, thanks.
Samantha is in court to claim £800 owed for a holiday her friend agreed to contribute towards. Defendant Joe says as he agreed to go on the holiday at short notice, he has not been given sufficient time to pay the money back.
Do I have Samantha here?
Yes.
Excellent. And is it Joe?
It is Joe, yeah.
Where did you meet?
We met on Plenty of Fish, the dating app.
When you saw him and the photograph, did you think that he might be the person for you?
Yes.
Was there anything else in the description that would mean the two of you were compatible?
We're both musical.
Musical? In what sense? Musical theatre?
No, just he sings and I play piano and...
Perfect. Did that first date go well as far as you were concerned? Joe?
Yeah, I thought it went rather well, to be fair, yeah.
And by rather well, in your mind, did you think that perhaps the two of you could have a romantic future?
Well, the more that we was talking, especially about music and our interest for music and what we do and stuff, I was thinking, yeah, there could be something there, because we've got quite, common ground.
Now, when you saw Joe, did you think, goodness me, G.I. Joe? Or did you think, G.I. No?
Physically, yes, and personality, yes, but just something didn't click for me.
Well, so two very important things. Physically, yes, but something didn't click.
Yeah.
Did you immediately disclose that to him after the starters had arrived?
After the starters had arrived? No, it was after the date.
Nevertheless, you decided to build a friendship, correct?
Yes.
And that happened for a fairly long period of time, because there's the two of you. You went out with each other and you were able to build what I'm going to describe to you, and specifically to you, Samantha, as a platonic relationship. Do you know what I mean? It comes from Plato. It means lots of fun, but none of the sex.
Yes.
Understand?
Yes.
Do you hold out some hope that perhaps the two of you might have a relationship moving forward?
As the relationship we have as best friends, yes.
Now, you moved forward sometime in September. Well, prior to September, you found a new boyfriend.
Yes.
Where did you meet him?
On Pop as well.
On what?
Plenty of Fish as well.
Well, how often do you go fishing, madam?
Never again. Yes, exactly.
Well, you met him there, and you certainly formed a real relationship for a period of time, so much so that in September 2018, the two of you decided to book a holiday together. Mm-hmm. Where was the holiday, madam?
To Snowbox Festival.
How much was that holiday, please?
1,970 odd.
Right, so it's roughly £2,000.
Yeah.
What do you get for that?
What do I get for that? The flights, the accommodation, the tickets for the festival, the transfers, the luggage, and ski passes as well. Most of it except food, really.
How long's the trip for?
A week, 7 days.
Now, that's a September when that holiday is booked. It seems to me, based upon your application and the material I've seen, that your financial situation takes a bit of a nosedive in October.
Yes.
What happened?
I quit my job in October.
Are you able to tell me why you got rid of that job?
I left there because I'd moved in with the boyfriend at the time, and travelling by car from work to his every day was too long.
Did you pay for that holiday up front?
I paid the deposit and then I paid the whole thing off in full a few weeks later.
Understood. Prior to October, you've been living independently. What happened to you in October? Where did you end up living?
I live back home.
With
my
who?
Parents.
Your parents?
Yeah.
Not exactly fun when you've moved out, correct? Jo, did she confide in you that that was what was going on?
She did.
And what did you think?
I felt really sorry for her, to be honest. I just felt great pain for my good friend.
What happened in November?
I broke up with him in November.
You'd lost your job as well?
Yes, yeah.
No income, correct?
Yes.
What was the policy in respect of that holiday on cancellation? Could you get your money back?
I thought I could. When I read online, I thought I would only lose the deposit. However, having sent them an email, they actually said that all the extras were non-refundable as well. So I ended up losing more.
Thank you very much. What did you decide to do then, madam?
I decided to keep trying to find someone to come with me instead. It's difficult to find people who would want to part with that amount of money. So I decided to cut the cost down and make it £800 for whoever wanted to come with me.
So, voila, Jo!
Voila, indeed.
What an opportunity for you. Are you a skier? Are you a snowboarder? Are you particularly effective with the poles?
No, all the experience I've got was back when I was about 10, going down some dry slopes with my family. But I thought skiing and music can't go too wrong, right?
Coming next.
Samantha, what could you do?
Find someone else.
What?
Find someone else to come with me.
Very good! Au revoir, Jo. Je voudrais skier avec une autre personne.
Okay.
Do you see?
This program is sponsored by Patient Claimline, medical negligence specialists.
You're not getting this back?
What happens when Lenore lovers try Lenore and new scent boosters? What is it? It's the Lenore Dream Team. Just condition as usual, boost with the matching scent, and go. Mine.
It's just too good.
New Lenore scent boosters. More of the scent you love.
To all our colleagues, thank you for stepping up, for stacking up, staying strong. Well, for everything. Sainsbury's. This program is sponsored by Patient Claimline, medical negligence specialists.
This is Judge Rinder. He's waiting to hear your case.
Do you work in the building or gardening trade? Are you owed money by an ex-customer? Maybe they refused to pay the agreed price. Or are you in a financial dispute with a fellow trader or ex-employer? Whatever the case, get in touch today. If you're 18 or over and would like to be considered for the show, text the word judge plus your name to 63334. Text costs 25 pence plus one standard network reg message. Or email judge@itv.com. Please note that we're unable to consider claims that have been or are currently in court.
Samantha is in court to claim £800 owed for a holiday her friend agreed to contribute towards. Defendant Joe says as he agreed to go on the holiday at short notice, he has not been given sufficient time to pay the money back.
What did you agree with Samantha in terms of how you would pay for this?
So the initial agreement was that I would pay her in instalments.
Bearing in mind you don't specify what the instalments are, just for him to pay before the holiday. The holiday hasn't happened yet. Why is that an enforceable agreement?
Because we'd agreed on it, and we're here a month away, and I still haven't had any money.
Did you realistically believe, and did you honestly believe, that you would have the funds at some point before leaving in the future on this holiday to pay that £800?
I did, yeah.
Samantha, you've developed a concern, have you not, that you think that Joe might not be able to pay this money before the holiday?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because he's going to be going away for 6 months after our trip to Tenerife.
Oh, thank goodness it ended there. I thought we were talking prison.
Thanks for your vote of confidence, Your Honour.
No. You're going to Tenerife. Is that to perform, sir?
It is, yeah. I'm going to perform for the Sensory Park.
Understood. So how are you going to pay her before the trip?
That's the unfortunate problem with this work coming up so abruptly. I had to make arrangements that I couldn't get out of, or otherwise I'd lose out on more money.
And then subsequently, Samantha worrying that you wouldn't be able to come up with that money, and presumably being concerned that you didn't have money on the holiday. Right?
Exactly.
Why is that important to you?
Because it's the most I've ever spent on a holiday, and I really want to enjoy it and just make the most of it.
And not having spending money is not going to be terribly fun.
Not really. I'll be starving while I'm out there, so...
Why didn't you pay a single instalment? Or did you?
I haven't as of yet. And that's because of the untimely timing of getting this new job.
So that money which you had earmarked or ring-fenced for Samantha had been spent on this new job?
Primarily, yes.
Now, how realistic is it now that you're going to come up with the £800 before you leave to go on holiday?
Before the holiday, it's looking unrealistic, if I'm being honest with you.
Samantha, what could you do?
Find someone else.
What?
Find someone else to come with me.
Very good! Au revoir, Joe. Je voudrais ski avec une autre personne.
Okay.
Do you see? Sam, Joe, the two of you are friends. Samantha, you've been reasonable. You allowed your friend a £300 discount effectively on holiday. And you say he promised to pay you. I absolutely accept that. He promised to pay before the trip, which has not happened. There are a number of difficulties, but the very first hurdle is that you have to persuade me that you have what's called an enforceable contract, because the two of you have an intention, or had an intention, to create legal relations. Now, I'm afraid to say, madam, that the text message you have is not sufficient to demonstrate that you have an enforceable contract. There is no definite date apart from the start of the holiday when the money has to come. We're not at the start of the holiday yet, so even if it was enforceable, you are premature. And even if there was a date, it doesn't specify the precise amount of the instalments, so there's no clarity. For those two reasons, I have to dismiss your case. Do you want to go on this trip, yes or no?
I would love to, yes.
Well, then go and find the money. Case dismissed.
Samantha lost her case and was awarded nothing by the court. Let's find out how both parties felt about today's ruling.
Quite surprised, actually. But I understand what he's saying, that we didn't actually specify instalments. I was going to leave that up to Joe to kind of decide how much he wanted to pay me back. So it is what it is, really.
I mean, she's aware of like what I do for like work and stuff, like being like a recording artist performer. My money doesn't come in very regularly like most people, and I honestly had the genuine intention that I could pay it. We should have probably been a bit more, concrete with our plans in terms of payment and stuff like that.
I'm still going to go, and I'm going to bring just some dry food with me to make sure that I can sustain myself without having to spend too much money.
This programme is sponsored by Patient Claimline, medical negligence specialists.
Fairy Platinum Quick Wash. It cuts through greasy mess effortlessly.
Fairy Platinum Quick Wash for an effortless clean.